So why did I decide to modify this custom bag as opposed to just finding a solution off the shelf? Well, candidly, I tried. So this is Matador's Globerider 45. This is Peak Design's 30-liter travel backpack. This is Matador's SEG28. And this is Osprey's Farpoint 40. And of these options, the Osprey Farpoint 40 is the closest that I would choose to what I need when I'm traveling. And that is almost entirely because of how well they designed the shoulder straps and the waist belt. The fact that it's somewhat adjustable, and Osprey is just known for such a comfortable carry, that this is a bag that I could hoist through the Atlanta airport from one side to the other, that I could land at my destination, empty out, repack as a hiking bag, and be very happy with my decision. That being said, the main thing that I don't like about the Farpoint 40 is that the interior layout is just very odd. It's kind of an egg shape inside, and so I never felt like I could really, especially when traveling, when doing air travel, this inner liner and then the kind of dome shape to it, it never felt like I could get a full 40 liters out of the interior of the bag. It really felt like I could get closer to maybe 25, but it never quite felt like I could get to 30. So if I were to redesign the Farpoint 40, it would be in a way that could create a more boxy volume while still maintaining this fantastic carry system. And I would lose the unique geometry. I just don't think that it really serves a purpose. This strange laptop sleeve just really seems to get in the way more than it helps. And then when it comes to the Peak Design backpack, travel backpack, I've always really wanted to like the Peak Design backpacks. I think that the design and the aesthetics are really there, but it's such a heavy bag. I think it's overbuilt. And then really the biggest thing is that even though it has a hip belt, this hip belt does not carry the weight when you load the bag up to any, with any real volume. And for me, that's the key thing that I need in a backpack is if I'm going to be carrying more than 20 liters of gear, I need to have a quality hip belt that distributes the weight off of my shoulders, off of my neck, and that way I can carry it for long periods of time. If I were to improve this backpack, one thing I would add is ventilation, a more robust hip belt. This tuckaway system is really neat, and if they could expand on this and just make it so that way, rather than having this 1-inch webbing, it distributed the weight onto the hips better, and maybe even adjust the shoulder straps up and down for people of various heights. And then I would also reduce the weight significantly. I think that when you have interior carry cubes, when you have camera cubes and the whatnot, you can really do away with a lot of the exterior padding to reduce the weight. For Matador's SEG28, I'm not going to say too much about this. I picked it up and I really don't think that it was meant for my style of travel. So that being said, I'm not going to make any recommendations on how I would improve it for my situation. I think that'd be unfair. I really needed to look for a backpack that had, again, the hip belt and better organization for what I'm packing when I have a backpack for air travel. So I'm going to set this one aside. And finally, Matador's Globerider 45 in this really cool Stormtrooper colorway. And I really had high hopes for this bag, but the reason why it's really just not usable by me is that the distance from the shoulder straps to the waist belt is too far. And when I put it on and I have the belt cinched up, and I know that I'm sitting right now, but it goes for both. Even if I'm standing, you can see that I have this space here at the top of the shoulders. And so if I have the hip belt placed where it needs to be around, on top of my hips, stacking that weight, then the shoulder straps are carrying absolutely none of the weight. And I need them to carry some of the weight. But there are a lot of features of this bag that really made me hopeful. For example, the exterior stuff pocket where you could throw a jacket. I really like the way that it opens all the way. The organization seems really solid. It's got these very interesting side pockets that you can stow things like toiletries or just little items that seem to typically get lost in a bag. So there's definitely a lot of thought that went into the design of this bag. And I think it was very well executed. It's just that for the dimensions and how the carry system is non-adjustable, I'm 5'8", 165 pounds. I think that my torso height for bags, I think is 17 inch. I think right around 17 inches from the yoke of the shoulder straps down to the hip belt is my preferred distance. So I can't even really comment on the quality of the hip belt because the combination of the shoulder straps and the hip belt don't work for my body type. So I went back to my Rehose Buddy. This is my Rehose 30. And what I really like about this bag is that, well, what initially drew me to it is that it's made of this very light material, this X-Pack material. The interior layout and the interior organization is lean, but functional. You can see the entirety of the interior when you open it all the way up. You have these two opposing mesh pockets and then these two opposing side pockets. You have a lower mesh pocket on the lid, a little bit of loop, and another mesh pocket. On the exterior, you have this slip pocket, and then another one up top. All the zippers work very nicely. For the most part, the bag keeps its shape. And the two downsides that I had with it was that one, it lacked a hip belt. And then two, if I were to make the change, I would put this zipper onto this side, just because when I sling my bag, I like to do it from my left shoulder to be able to access things. So a little nuance, I know. So it took me a little bit to be able to find this Hyperlite belt that really matched what I was trying to achieve with the bag overall. So what am I trying to solve for? I need a backpack that excels at air travel. I need a backpack that is lightweight, easy to pack, most importantly, very comfortable to wear for long periods of time. I assume that when we fly, that at some point during the trip, I'm going to be carrying not only my own stuff, but also bits and pieces for my kids. And so I need a backpack that distributes the weight from my hips and my shoulders, and that I can wear for long distances and long periods of time, without causing neck pain, without causing back pain. So having that superior carry system, having a lightweight to begin with, being able to easily access things on the go. So if not a full zip, then a majority of being able to open the entirety of the pack and see what's inside. And I really feel like this combination, this custom combination, hits all those high marks. The way that I'm going to load this is using packing cubes. And so everything will Tetris nicely into here because it doesn't have, like the Osprey, it doesn't have that weird egg or dome shape. It's very square on the exterior. And so I can use an Eagle Creek or even the Peak Design packing cubes for camera gear, and everything will stack nicely. And then if there's something that I need out specifically, either I can go in from the side, very similar to a Peak Design bag, or I can come in from the top and get it this way. When we went to Germany last year, I actually had and I'm blanking on the name of it right now, but I had the REI hiking backpack that's about the same size. And it has a very similar opening system. But what I found is that while I could get the shoulder straps right, there's something about the material that they had used on the REI hip belt where it kept sliding off of my clothing. Regardless of what I was wearing, it just didn't have any grip. And so it wouldn't, unless I wrenched that belt down, it wouldn't carry the load around my hips. And I had a very uncomfortable time, and it really took me out of the presence of travel. When I travel, I want to see new things, I want to meet new people, and I find that when you enter into that state of just pure discomfort of either being too hot, too sweaty, too borne down, it's very easy to slip out of that presence of mind. It's very hard to get back to being in the moment and enjoying being someplace new, meeting new people, eating new foods, and drinking new coffee, which I travel by coffee shops. That's one of the big things that I like to find. That's one of the big things I really like to explore. And as it's built out right now, this custom modified version of the Rehose Buddy 30 with this Hyperlite belt that I had installed by Rugged Thread seems to hit all of the high points. So we have some air travel coming up here at the end of the month. I'm going to put it through its paces. I've tested it here just around, around my hometown. And so far, I'm very happy with the build out. So with that, I appreciate your time and attention. Thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please give the video a like. Please share down in the comments what you think about this custom modified Rehose Buddy 30. And with that, thank you again, and hopefully see you in the next video.